History and tradition is not always written. It lives through our senses. It lives through our very existence. No matter where I am, home is with me. When I touch the mango, it touches me back. The pan serenades me with aromatics. It reminds me of a home filled with music. It reminds me of a home filled with people who are bound together by survival. When we nourish our souls, we find community. When we eat, we fill our cup. There is a seat at the table for all of us, even if there aren't enough chairs. These are not step-by-step recipes. This is our ancestral tapestry that can only be inherited. When you come to my house, you eat. My name is Pearly Pouponneau, and Avtar is my father. Growing up in a Punjabi Malaysian household, I would have never imagined that my father and I would eventually have an estranged relationship because we were inseparable. He was my hero. My father was the first person to show me what it meant to be a community builder before those titles even existed. He also introduced me to love languages, and ours was food. As I grew, the traumas that my father experienced took a toll on his mental health and well-being, and he fell into addiction. And this really impacted our relationship.
Hi, my name is Avtar Singh Puller, and I'm originally from Malaysia. I came here in the year 1988. But it has been tough for me. So at one point in my life, I was down, feeling sad. And I used to drink quite a bit. We were hardly communicating, and I didn't like that because I wanted Pearly there, and I'm sure Pearly wanted me there as a dad. And it did impact us. It nearly drove us apart. But end of the day, all the food and all that we talk about, every time we got together and we enjoyed each other's company is through food and through cooking, and we bonded again and we brought it together. Well, a year ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Never expected it. Knowing that I don't know how much time I have on this earth left. So I'm going to make the best of it, especially with my daughter Pearly. But I got to accept the fact is, I might not wake up tomorrow. Pearly was always around when I'm in the kitchen trying to cook something. She was always with her dad, curious to help, like what can I do, and normally I'll give her something to, give her something to do while I'm cooking, and she used to watch every step I'm cooking. And being a food lover and, passing this on to Pearly, my daughter, it has been a great pleasure because it is the best thing I've ever done in my life is learning how to cook.
Cooking with my father has always been a means of connectivity between him and I because focusing on the food, focusing on the ingredients, focusing on the cultural elements takes that awkwardness away. We don't really have a deep connection, meaning we don't know each other so well because we've been estranged for very significant parts of our life. So when we can eliminate those things and focus on something that we both love, which is the organization, the prepping, the cooking of the food, we are able to have conversation about things that we typically may not. And I especially enjoy seeing my father in this element because I see how healing it is for him. I see how the memories of Malaysia back home come back to him. I see how the aromas bring back specific memories and moments that he shared with his family growing up. Across so many cultures, food is the constant glue that brings people together. I'm so thankful for places like Chinatown, Ottawa, because it's a staple in our community, and it has allowed first, second, and third generation immigrants to stay connected to their roots. It's so amazing for me to have these memories with my father because I naturally replicate them with my daughter present day. Whenever people come to my house now, they're always commenting on the vibe. The vibe is always right. The vibe is always nice. It's always healing. And that's something that I have to credit my father for as well, because growing up, if he was in the kitchen, I would just be in awe watching him. First of all, he was definitely shirtless with the cigarette dangling out of his mouth. There would always be incense lit, and the smoke would take over the whole room. the windows would be open and the curtains would be blowing. And my dad would be jamming out in the kitchen, and traditionally it would be some good music playing, typically old Bollywood. And I'm almost certain that one day my daughter will say the same thing about me.
My relationship with my daughter Pearly, she's been there for me always. But she's always been a joy to be around with, makes me laugh. She's my kid. I love her to death. And I want to spend as much time as I can before I go.
When you lose a parent to addiction, I truly don't believe that you can ever reconcile with losing that version of them that you once admired. Despite living with this incredibly painful heartbreak, you just continue to show up, and some of us become more radical in the ways that we pull up for each other. And I think that's such a beautiful way to turn pain into purpose. I think of him when I'm making our favorite dishes, and I always will. And I really want for everyone to understand that when you see me as a community builder, when you see me hosting beautiful events, it's all credited to my father and what he taught me in my early years. Despite me missing him, despite us not having the relationship I would have wanted us to have, I still get my best qualities from him. So when you see me, you will see him too.